Okay, so in this video, we are focusing on multiplying fractions, mixed numbers, and whole numbers. Guys, multiplying when it comes to fractions is much easier than adding and subtracting. Because fractions, think about it, fractions, the fraction bar is actually division. So like 2/5, that's actually 2 divided by 5. And division and multiplication, you know, they go hand in hand. They're best buds. So when it comes to multiplying fractions, it's easy. We don't care if they have the same denominator. All you literally do, you multiply straight across. Multiply the numerators. 2 times 7, 14. Multiply the denominators. 5 times 9, 45. Now, the trick. You guys really don't need your calculator. But just to prove that this is simplified, if you press equals, it doesn't do anything. Where if I did like 5/10, we know that's the same as 1/2, and I press equals, it'll simplify it for you. So, another one. 9/6 times 4/5. So pause the video and try this one. Multiply straight across. So 9 times 4, 36, times 6 times 5 is 30. You can leave it like that. If you leave it as an improper fraction, we recommend, though, that you write it in simplest form. So what number goes into both 30 and 36? Well, 2 goes into both of them. Is there a bigger one? Does 4? No, 4 doesn't go into 30. Does 6 go into both of them? Yeah, it does. How many times does 6 go into 36? 6 times. How many times does 6 go into 30? 5 times. Because 36 divided by 6 is 6. 30 divided by 6 is 5. So 6/5, or 1 1/5. Now, sometimes they're going to be written, though, as mixed numbers. So 2 3/4 times 4/5. With mixed numbers, the trick is just write it as an improper fraction. Just write it as a fraction greater than 0. So use the same denominator of 4. Just bring that denominator down. And then you do 4 times 2 plus 3. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3, 9, 10, 11. So 11/4. Let me check. How many times does 4 go into 11? 2 whole times with 3/4 left over? Yep. So 11/4 times 4/5. And then you just multiply straight across once you have two fractions, not a mixed number. So you need to change your mixed numbers to fractions greater than 1, improper fractions, before you multiply, divide, and you only don't change them if you're adding or subtracting like we did in the first video, and they have the same denominator and you don't have to regroup. Rule of thumb, though, just change mixed numbers to improper fractions when you're doing operations with them. 11 times 4 is 44. 4 times 5 is 20. Now, I really don't like doing it this way and then simplifying at the end. I mean, I know 4 goes into both of them. 44 divided by 4 is 11, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. How I personally do it, though, is I simplify before I multiply. So what does that mean? So let me draw a squiggly line and rewrite the problem. So I look diagonally. Okay? 4 and 4. Is there a number that both of these are divisible by that goes into both of these? Yeah, 4 goes into both of them. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. So cross it out and it becomes a 1. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Is there a number that goes into both 5 and 11 other than 1? No. So now you just multiply the new numbers. 11 times 1 is 11. 1 times 5 is 5. Same answer. I just don't like simplifying at the end. Check your simplification with your calculator. 44 ABC 20 equals 2 1/5, or, well, 5 goes into 11 2 times with 1/5 left over. Now you're also going to do some practice with word problems. Okay? So let's do 2 together. The first one. Eric has started running for exercise. Good for you, Eric. Make sure you stretch. He recorded the number of miles he ran each day this week in this table. Okay, so Monday, we don't know how much he ran. Wednesday, he ran 1.5 kilometers. Friday, he ran 9/10 of a kilometer. Okay? On Monday, Eric ran 5/7 of the distance that he ran on Friday. So on Monday, he ran 5/7 of the distance he ran on Friday. So it is important to know that of means multiply. This word of, that means multiply. So he ran 5/7 of multiply. 5/7 of the distance he ran Friday. Well, Friday he ran 9/10 of a kilometer. So he ran 5/7 of 9/10 of a kilometer. So what is that? So you can just multiply straight across and simplify. I cross simplify first. So 5 and 10. 5 goes into 5 1 time. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 7 and 9, they can't be simplified. 1 times 9 is 9 over 7 times 2 is 14. So he ran 9/14 kilometers on Monday. Now, if you didn't simplify first, 5 times 9 was 45 over 70, and then you'd simplify. So one more word problem. The dolphins at the San Diego Zoo eat 3 1/8 buckets of fish each day. So the dolphins eat 3 1/8 buckets. Dolphins, 3 1/8 buckets of fish. The killer whales eat 2 3/5 times as much fish as the dolphins. So dolphins eat 3 1/8 buckets. Killer whales eat 2 3/5 times. Literally says times. Multiply. 2 3/5 times as much as the dolphins. So 2 3/5 times as much as, well, the dolphins ate 3 1/8. So 2 3/5 times 3 1/8. Okay, we have 2 mixed numbers. What do we do with mixed numbers when you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing? Change them to improper fractions. So keep the denominator 5. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 3 on the top is 13. Bring down the multiplication sign. Keep the denominator of 8. 8 times 3, 24, plus 1 more, 25. Okay, and now you can solve it. See, when I see 13 times 25, I'm like, whoa, that's a big number. So that's why I like to simplify first. So look diagonally. 13 and 8. Can those be simplified? No. What about 5 with the 25? Yeah, 5 goes into both of them. 5 goes into 5 1 time. 5 goes into 25 5 times. Okay, so now we really have 13 times 5 over 1 times 8. So 13 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. So we have 65 over 1 times 8 is 8. 65 over 8. You can leave it like that. But what's 65/8 buckets? That doesn't mean much. They wrote them both as mixed numbers, so let's leave them as a mixed number. How many times does 8 go into 65? Well, 8 times 8 is 64, so that's the closest we're going to get. So 8 goes into 65, 8 whole times. 64, that's not quite 65. That's 1 left over out of 8. So 8 and 1/8 buckets. Wow. Them killer whales.